Hey guys, welcome to Chapel and welcome to The Couch. Hey, this is actually our last Chapel of the year and it's a bummer that COVID restrictions still don't allow us to meet together as a sub-school. But it's all good because today we're going to be continuing with our theme, Good News, where instead of looking at all the bad news that seems to be all around us right now, we're choosing to focus on the good news both in our world and in the Bible. Anyway, let's get right into it. Here's our good news story of the fortnight. Today's good news story comes all the way from Brazil, where a cow went for a ride down a water slide. This cow, deciding it didn't want to get killed for food, managed to escape a slaughterhouse and somehow found its way to a nearby water park where it discovered a water slide and decided to give it a go. I mean, hey, why not? So the cow climbed up 11 steps to get to the top of the water slide and evidently gave it a crack. Unfortunately though, it wasn't the most successful experience, with the cow getting stuck partway down the water slide. However, the owner of the water park, Carlos, managed to rescue the cow and decided that he wanted to take it home as a pet. And so that's what he did. Carlos took the cow home and named him Tobagar, which apparently means slide in Portuguese. Anyway, at Carlos's house, Tobagar lived happily ever after. Well, actually, it's only been a week, but I'm sure it's been great, especially when compared to the slaughterhouse where he would have otherwise been. Anyway, that's our good news story of the fortnight. Alright, moving on. In Chapel this term, we've been playing a version of Have You Been Paying Attention, which is a comedy quiz show on TV that features 5 contestants that compete to see who can remember the most about news and events from the past week. Our version is a little different though, in that all the news stories that our contestants are quizzed on are good news stories. Anyway, without further ado, here is this fortnight's episode of Have You Been Paying Attention, Good News Edition. Well, welcome to our final ever episode of Have You Been Paying Attention, Good News Edition, where we look back at the good news of the last fortnight and ask, have you been paying attention? Today, I am joined by Andy from Year 7, Alyssa from Year 10, Sarah from Year 10, and our regulars, Head of Year 8, Mr. Reid, and our Assistant Head of Senior School, Mr. Roxby. How are we, guys?
Good. Fantastic, Alex.
Yep. Feeling confident today?
Always. Well, mate, I'm undefeated after 2 rounds, so I don't know. Going for the hat trick.
Well, we'll see how we go today, Mr. Roxby. How about we get this underway? We've got 10 questions today. Each correct answer is worth 10 points, and the person with the most points at the end of the 10 questions is declared this fortnight's winner of Have You Been Paying Attention, Good News Edition. So, contestants, are we ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, question number 1. YouTube made a big announcement this fortnight. What was it?
Mr. Roxby.
Mr. Roxby.
They're going Christmas ad-free until the 1st of December.
No, they're not.
Mr. Reid.
Mr. Reid.
They're banning all pus-popping videos.
No, Mr. Reid. That would not be good news.
Sarah?
Yeah, Sarah.
Mariah Carey will be their logo because Christmas is basically about her.
It is actually basically about her, but no, not the answer I'm looking for. Sorry, Sarah.
Mr. Reid.
Mr. Reid.
They're going to stop showing the dislike numbers on videos.
That is correct, Mr. Reid. YouTube will be hiding the dislike count on videos to protect content creators from trolls like yourself, Mr. Reid. Question number 2. New South Wales reached a significant milestone this fortnight, with 90% of residents having now done what?
Mr. Reid.
Yeah, Mr. Reid.
They've realised that rugby league actually isn't a decent sport.
No, that's incorrect.
Mr. Roxby.
Yeah, Mr. Roxby.
They started playing Mariah Carey's Christmas album.
No.
Andy. Double vaxxed?
Yes, that is correct. 90% of New South Wales residents have now received their second COVID jab. Question number 3. For the first time in 763 days, what happened on Australian soil this fortnight?
Mr. Reid.
Mr. Reid.
Someone forgot to set up a barbecue at Bunnings.
No.
Andy. The men's Australian soccer team played their first game against Saudi Arabia.
Yes, that is actually correct. The Australian men's national soccer team played in Australia for the first time in 763 days this fortnight. Bonus points if anyone knows the score of the game.
Mr. Reid.
Mr. Reid.
0-0.
Correct, Mr. Reid. A riveting game indeed.
I've watched paint dry faster than actually the result of that game. 0-0 for 2 hours of my life. Never again.
As someone who also watched the game, I do agree with you there, mate. All right, question number 4. Another sport-related question. This fortnight, Australia won the World Cup for the first time ever in which sport?
Andy.
Yeah, Andy.
Bindi picking.
No.
Alyssa.
Alyssa.
Cricket.
That is correct. Men's 2020 cricket. All right, moving away from sport. Question number 5. This photo was on the news this fortnight. What is this guy holding?
Mr. Reid.
Yeah, Mr. Reid.
It's a giant ball of pus.
It is not a giant ball of pus.
Andy.
Yeah, Andy.
It's like a big cocoon.
Oh, good answer.
Alyssa.
No. Alyssa.
A giant chicken nugget.
No, it's not. Sorry, Alyssa.
Mr. Reid.
Mr. Reid.
It's actually the world's largest potato.
That is correct. This is the world's largest potato, and it was found in New Zealand this fortnight, weighing in at nearly 8 kilograms. Bonus points if anybody knows what this potato was named.
Andy.
Andy.
Big boy.
No, it was not named Big Boy.
Mr. Roxby.
Mr. Roxby.
Spud Lightyear.
No, sorry, Mr. Roxby.
Mr. Reid.
Mr. Reid.
Mr. Potato Head.
No, it wasn't.
Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah.
The potato is actually called Doug the Spud.
That is correct. His name was Doug the Spud. Question number 6, to music. Good news for Justin Bieber fans this fortnight. What did he announce?
Mr. Roxby.
Yeah, Mr. Roxby.
I didn't really understand what he was saying, but he was something saying like, he was like, baby, 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 ooh.
That's incorrect, mate, but I will award you 10 points regardless for your flawless performance.
Alyssa.
Alyssa.
He's going on tour with Selena Gomez.
Ooh, no, wouldn't that be awkward?
Mr. Reid.
Mr. Reid.
He's actually decided to retire and stop putting his face up on TV and stop singing.
That'd be devastating, mate.
Mr. Roxby.
Yeah, Mr. Roxby.
He's cancelled 2021 tour. Is going to be redone in 2022.
That is correct, and it is coming to Australia, which is good news for you, Mr. Roxby, as a Justin Bieber fanatic.
You got to be a believer.
Question number 7. This fortnight, public health experts have begun putting pressure on the Australian government to ban the selling of what in Australian supermarkets?
Mr. Roxby.
Mr. Roxby.
Mate, the obesity epidemic is out of control, so they're taking away triple-coated chocolate Tim Tams.
No, they're not.
Mr. Reid.
Mr. Reid.
Dr. Pepper, because it's just terrible.
No, sorry, Mr. Reid.
Alyssa.
Alyssa.
Brussels sprouts.
Oh, that'd be great news, but no.
Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah.
They're going to be banning cigarettes.
That is correct.
How do you know
Question.
that, Sarah? Have you tried?
Excuse me? No, I actually watch the news a lot, actually, Mr. Reid.
I'm feeling so much tension here. So I'm going to move on to question number 8. Why is Snoopy the dog in the news this fortnight?
Mr. Roxby.
Mr. Roxby.
He's going to be the support act to Justin Bieber's tour. Snoopy the dog. Yeah.
No, he's not.
Alyssa.
Yeah, Alyssa.
He's not doing the menu log ads anymore.
No, guys, I should probably clarify. We're not talking about Snoop Dogg. We're talking about Snoopy the cartoon dog.
Oh.
Andy.
Andy.
He's making a new movie.
No, he's not.
Mr. Reid.
Mr. Reid.
He's actually got surgery to resize his head so it fits his body.
No, he's not. Sorry, Mr. Reid. Andy.
He's finally getting coloured in.
No.
Mr. Reid.
Mr. Reid.
I think it is NASA has said that Snoopy is going to go to space.
That is correct. NASA has announced that Snoopy in plush form will be going to the moon next February aboard spaceship Artemis 1. Question number 9. Another space-related question. Why were Australian space fanatics excited this fortnight?
Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah.
We're all going to be getting free taxis around space.
No.
Mr. Roxby.
Yeah, Mr. Roxby.
There's huge stars out there. You know, there's Justin Bieber, there's Snoopy the dog. They're everywhere.
Andy.
No. Yeah, Andy.
They thought there was a star, but it was just a plane.
No.
Mr. Roxby.
Mr. Roxby.
They launched their first rocket into space. It's been such a long time, but they thought they'd catch up with the rest of the world, and we've launched something into space.
That's correct. Australia has launched its first rocket in 40 years, although they only went up 33,000 feet, which is the height that a commercial airliner gets to.
Wasn't it just one of those rockets that the year threes have made in steam?
Yeah, it's not too different from that.
It's like it's easy. You just get a bottle of Coke and some sauce, and you just let the pressure do the rest, right?
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Question number 10. Big announcement from Sesame Street this fortnight with a new character being introduced. What is this character's name?
Alyssa.
Alyssa.
They're introducing another character, and it's Elmo's sister, and her name's Elsa.
No.
Mr. Reed.
Yeah, Mr. Reed.
His name is appropriately sized bird.
No.
Mr. Roxby.
Mr. Roxby.
It's Bert and Ernie's new cousin, Snoop Dogg.
No, it's not Mr. Roxby.
Mr. Reed.
Yeah, Mr. Reed.
Oscar the Happy.
No.
Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah.
A female Cookie Monster.
No, it's not. That would be a great idea.
Mr. Roxby.
Mr. Roxby.
It's a cousin to the Count, the alphabet.
Unfortunately, not Mr. Roxby.
Alyssa.
Yeah, Alyssa.
They're introducing a new Asian American character named Ji Young.
That is correct, and they're doing it as a step towards racial inclusivity. So that brings an end to Have You Been Paying Attention? Good News Edition this fortnight. Let's check out the final leaderboard. This fortnight's winner of Have You Been Paying Attention? Good News Edition is Mr. Reed on 40 points, followed by Mr. Roxby on 30, and then Andy, Alyssa, and Sarah all tying for third place on 20 points. Congratulations to Mr. Reed. Very well played, mate, and well played to all of our contestants this fortnight. Anyway, that's it from us here. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to head back to the couch. Hey, well, I hope you enjoyed the final episode of Have You Been Paying Attention? Good News Edition. Having now looked at some of the good news going on in our world at the moment, we're going to spend some time looking at some of the good news found in the Bible. And for this, like we've been doing all term, we're going to be hearing from a few different staff members who for a couple of minutes each are going to share a piece of good news from the Bible. Something that's inspired them and encouraged them in their lives. So let's go.
Hello, everyone. Good news. We are almost at the end of 2021, and what a year it has been. When I think about good news, I always think about sharing that good news with other people. So in the middle of the year, I got engaged, and I could not wait to share that announcement with my family and friends and share the good news together and enjoy that experience. And there's a verse in the Bible, and it's actually our theme for the year. And it talks about the importance of sharing the good news or good deeds in glorifying God's name. And it talks about being the salt and the light. So in Matthew chapter 5, verse 13 to 16, it says, "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot." So back in the day, in the biblical times of Jesus, salt was used almost as a way of trading. So it was used as money because salt was used to help preserve food. Obviously, they don't have fridges or freezers like we do now. So they had to use salt to preserve those foods. And salt was a valuable thing. So God is saying that you are the salt of the earth. You are valuable. And you can't lose your value. Obviously, it says if it's no longer good for anything, it could be thrown out and trampled underfoot. But you are valuable. You are salty. It's not the saltiness where you're getting annoyed and at little tiny things where you become salty. God's saying that you're salty because you're valuable and you can add richness and flavor to the world. Verse 14 says, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand and give light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." So I love this verse. You are the light shining in the town of Cessnock, and your good deeds glorifies your Father in heaven. So whatever you do as you move towards this season of Christmas, where it's the season of giving and of love and sharing food, hopefully that food that's well seasoned and it's got good amounts of salt. As you do that, make sure that you are being the light in your wherever group you're in, wherever situation you find yourself. I pray that you and encourage you to be the salt and light that God has intended you to be. I hope you have a great holidays and keep safe. And God bless.
Hi students, as we finish up the year, I just wanted to share one of my favourite Bible stories with you. It's the story of Nehemiah. Nehemiah lived about 500 years before the birth of Christ. He was an important man. He reported to the king, and the king asked him to go back to Jerusalem and build the wall around the city that had fallen into ruin. When Nehemiah got back to the city, he found it was an absolute mess and he wasn't sure that he could do the job. So rather than just run back to the king and complain about it, he decided to pray to God. He was a man of God and he understood that prayer would be answered if he tried hard enough. So he prayed and he prayed and he prayed, and things started to formulate in his mind. So at night, he went out, he studied the wall, he understood where the weaknesses were, what exactly needed to be done, and he came back and he prayed even more. Eventually, he got to the point where he needed to start the job. And he decided that rather than just praying, he needed to also be a man of action. So he went out and he found all of the resources and he put everything in place and he built that wall in a very fast time and he made it safe for all the people again. I love the story for a couple of reasons. One, that it's okay to pray and it's okay to talk to God, but it's not okay to just wait for him to deliver everything. It's not okay for us to just think it'll all be done for us. You also need to be the one who puts the actions in place. And that's exactly what Nehemiah did. He prayed and he was a man of action and he went ahead and he did all of the hard work, all of the tough stuff. Reminds me of a sporting adage that goes something like this: the harder I work, the luckier I get. In Nehemiah's case, the more I prayed, the harder my work, the easier my work would be. And exactly that happened. So as we head into Christmas, it's been a great year for a lot of you. It's been a tough one, but I just wanted to leave you with that story. Okay, so all the best, and I will see you around. Looking forward to seeing you next year. So bye for now.
Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Shields here. I'm the Director of Wellbeing at St. Philip's Christian College, and I get to share with you a little bit about good news. As we're heading into the downward spiral into the last couple of weeks of school, it makes me start thinking about Christmas and all the amazing things that you get to do in holidays and being with family, actual Christmas Day, putting up the tree, all those things that just are wonderful about this season. And it reminds me of the best news that I know of, and that is that Jesus was born at this time of the year, which is why we celebrate Christmas. And we remember all that he did for us as that tiny baby growing up into that grown man who died on the cross for us, which we celebrate at Easter. So one of my favorite verses is from Isaiah in the Old Testament of the Bible. This is Isaiah 9 verse 6. For a child is born to us, a son is given to us, and the government will rest on his shoulders, and he'll be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. And I just think that as we head into Christmas, what a wonderful reminder of all that God was as that tiny baby and God became as that man. So have a wonderful Christmas. Remember the good news of what God has done for us, and have a wonderful holiday.
Hey guys, how good was that? That actually brings an end to Chapel for today and for the year. I really hope that Chapel has blessed you in some way this year, and just as we wrap it all up, I want to encourage you to give the Bible a go for yourself. We've seen this term how much good news is in it, and I honestly believe that reading it can change your life. So I want to leave you with that encouragement, as well as let you know if you don't have a Bible and you want one, or you have any questions about God or about the Bible, hit me up. I want you to know that I'm here to support you on your faith journey. Anyway, I'm going to finish with prayer and I invite you to join me. God, has been a big year and a challenging one in a lot of ways for many of us, but you've been good throughout it and we've seen that. And God, I just pray that you can continue to reveal your goodness to us every single day. God, I pray a blessing over every single student watching this today. I pray that they may finish this year well and that they always know and always remember that you are good and that you love them so much. And we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, hey, that's it. Thanks for tuning in today, guys, and have a great rest of your year.